So our next topic is about powerlessness and guilt. So what I'd like you to think about real briefly is a time when you had to watch someone else suffer, or they had an experience of lack or misery, or they were going through something that you couldn't help them with. You know, perhaps you felt like money would have been the answer and it would have made everything so easy. You know, some examples might be whether you see a homeless person out on the street, or perhaps a whole family, and you thought, gosh, you know, if I just had more money, I would love to help these people, but maybe you're finding it hard to help yourself, and so you kind of walk away feeling powerless and sad, and there's a lot of sorrow that kind of enters your vault, and it sits there on the back shelf. Or you might have a parent or a sibling or even a dog that you have seen or experienced that wasn't fed and his ribs were sticking out. And you know, that when we see other people or other beings that are suffering, it does something to our own heart because they really are one with us. So it's very easy to feel guilty or powerless because we'd like to change it if we could. It's a very natural instinct to want to help and want to help people get to a better place. And if you feel like you're really depressed and you're sad and you can't climb out of your own situation, it's easy to come away from that situation yourself just feeling powerless and guilty. We want to allow all the feelings of sadness or regret or guilt or powerlessness to just come to the surface. And whatever those negative feelings are, just be willing to know that they are by election, that you have chosen them, and you've chosen them at the expense of your peace. Now, we can still have compassion for other people, and you know, there are times when I just sit and cry with my clients because I know what they're going through, and I've been through those things before. But at the same time, I feel a very deep sense of peace because I know who they are, and I know what God has for them and what their right is, and that they're entitled to miracles and happiness and joy in their lives. So I feel a lot of happiness at the same time because as they begin to put down these old judgments and thoughts against themselves, they're going to very naturally reclaim their divine inheritance. So it's okay and wonderful to have that compassion for every other person, but we don't want to forfeit our peace to take on the misery of another person. We want to help bring that person to our circle of peace so that they can begin to have that peace with us. So if both of us go into a place of misery, then we're both feeling a sense of darkness, and then we can't seem to find the light. So again, let's start tapping over the heart, and you can repeat after me. And this is about powerlessness and guilt. Bringing that subject to your mind whenever you felt you had to watch something, or you saw something, or you saw someone you loved that was suffering and there was nothing you could do, and you just felt helpless. And now you can say, there have been times when I have watched as other people I love, or other people I know, or other people I have seen have had to suffer due to lack or scarcity. And it was heartbreaking to watch. Just bring it to the surface and let's release it together. Let's go to the other side of the chest and say, I release all the sadness, all the pressure, all the frustration, all feelings of powerlessness as I turn this over to God. Now let's just pause and take a deep breath, remembering that any time you have witnessed this situation of seeing someone else that's hurting and you couldn't do anything, we want to turn them right over to God. This is the hands that have the answer. This is the one who knows the problem and how it must be addressed. And in truth, we do not know the answer. And there will be times when we are called to be part of the answer. And you will know because you will receive that guidance firsthand. You know, it might be at a time when there's been many times where I came across someone that was, you know, having hard times, and I just remembered, you know, I had a $10 bill or $20 bill in my wallet that I just seen, and it's almost like Spirit showed it to me, like, give this to them right now, and I'll run back to my car and I'll just do exactly what I'm told to do, and I don't think twice about it. And then there's other times when you're not feeling that guidance, and perhaps that's a time that you're not being guided to act out in that way. So just follow your guidance and follow the peace, and you will always know what your part is in their plan for peace. And know that sometimes that plan doesn't include you, and other times it will. So now let's go to the top of your head, and let's tap there in a little circle, and just say, I forgive myself. Or I'm willing to forgive myself for every time I felt powerless, and every time I couldn't fix the problem. I forgive myself, and I release the past. Now let's go to the eyebrow point and say, I turn this whole situation over, and I give it to God for healing. I am willing to know that divine solutions are always possible in every situation. My part is to not judge myself or to decide against the healing. Now let's pause again, taking a long, deep, calming breath. Now let's tap right there in the center of the chest and just say, all things are possible with God. All things are possible with God. Now let's go to the side of the eye, right on the side of your eye, not back on the temple, and say, I release all the sad feelings, all feelings of pain, of sorrow, and despair. I want peace for myself and for everyone else. I'm willing to forgive myself. I choose peace instead of pain, innocence instead of guilt. Let's pause and take a long, deep, calming breath. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of relief going down and through the body. Taking another deep, calming breath. Remember, the idea is to let go of all of these heavy, burdensome emotions wherever we have experienced them and whenever we put them into our personal vault, and we're bringing them right into the light, where the light can dispel those feelings and our higher consciousness can help us to accomplish the healing for us. Now let's go under the eye and say, I want to release the sadness. The sadness of seeing other people suffer, other people in pain, or other people hurting, and I couldn't help them. I'm willing to forgive myself. Now let's go under the nose. I am worthy of the finest that life has to offer. I want happiness and abundance for me and all of my brothers. Now let's go to the chin point. I release the past. I open to a future filled with ease, blessings, surplus, and enormous abundance as it comes from God. Now let's pause and take a long, deep, calming breath. Excellent. Now let's go back up over the heart and say, I forgive myself deeply and completely. For every time I have seen someone suffer, every time I watched as someone went without something they needed, I choose peace for them and for myself. And now to the center of your chest. I like to use really strong affirmative statements on the center of the chest and say, I am as God created me. I have never done anything that could alter the truth of who I am. I am entitled to great abundance and the finest that life has to offer. I am safe, I am loved, I am blessed, and I am whole. Very good. Let's take a nice, deep, calming breath. Let's tune into that rating, any rating of a negative charge that you're still feeling. And notice where you feel it in your body. Sometimes it'll be in one tight little spot. Maybe it's in your throat still or in the center of your chest. Sometimes you'll feel it up in the top of your head. Or sometimes it's a feeling that goes all down and through your body. So wherever you're feeling that negative charge, just take a moment and we just say thank you, God, for taking this from me. Whatever the origin is of this heavy emotion, thank you for showing it to us so that we can release it together. And as you release your sadness and feelings of powerlessness, you will find that you'll feel lighter and more at ease. Your health will improve. Your divine flow of abundance seems to start opening back up again. But it's not because God is now favoring you. It is because you are no longer blocking that abundance. Abundance is our natural state of being. It is our right as a holy child of God. And so whenever we go into a place of self-judgment or guilt or powerlessness, what we're really saying underneath is, I am not the child of God. It's like disclaiming your true self. And when we do that, we pretty much give up our awareness of our own divine inheritance. And we certainly don't want to do this, because our divine inheritance includes everything that would fulfill our happiness in every way. So again, we don't want to cover our light from our eyes and think that the light went out. The light has never gone out, and your abundance has never left. But what we do want is to reopen that faucet and get that abundance flowing again.